Hi everyone. We are going to start a new chapter today that is all about MSME sector, right? So we have some legal provisions that we have to study with respect to MSME. Now before we begin the chapter, I know and I understand that you will be filled with a lot of doubts, right? What is MSME? That undoubtedly you will come to know when you read the act, MSME Act that we have to read in this chapter. But still, you will not have that proper clarity. So, I have certain background framework, or you can say you will still be filled with a lot of FAQs in your mind. So, it is very important that you understand this topic from the grassroots level as a complete layman, that you do not know what an enterprise is. What, of course, the full form: micro, small, medium enterprises. Micro, small, medium enterprises, right? So we have to first get to the basics and thereafter we can proceed with the chapter. One more thing, I have incorporated a lot of section numbers in this chapter which is not included in your study material, right, according to the institute. So do we have to learn the section numbers? The answer is no, right? For this particular chapter, I've clearly given you a disclaimer warning that section numbers are not required to be learned. Then why have you incorporated it, ma'am? Because such scattered way of learning will not give you a proper idea about the act in this chapter, and you need to classify the provisions accordingly. So for better understanding and classification, I have done it, but I am also telling you, don't remember the section numbers. You don't have to learn the section numbers specifically. Okay, so let's begin the chapter. I will make you note certain things again because they are important for you to have a proper idea about, and then only you can proceed with the chapter. Because some, you can say, split pieces of knowledge here and there, if you try to compile and get a good idea about MSME, you'll not be able to. Okay, so my dear, let's begin with the chapter. We are talking about MSME, which clearly stands for micro, small, medium enterprise. And maybe there could be some other also, which may be large or something which is not covered over here. So, this we are talking about and we are referring them to as MSME. We have a dedicated act for this. We have MSME Development Act, which we call as MSMED. Act 2006. This we have to read basically in this particular chapter, which is, of course, for MSMEs. But what are MSMEs? And why do you think there is a need for a separate act like MSME? I mean, why? So you have to understand first the very, very, very basic things. Government is promoting these MSMEs. Why do you think government will promote MSMEs? Imagine we have a huge factory in a place called Mumbai. Okay, huge factory, a very, very, very large factory. Now, undoubtedly, if it is such a large factory, it will need so many so many employees, so much of labor, so much of workforce to be employed in this particular factory. So, people from all over the country would want to get employed because this is the only employment opportunity that they have. So, everyone would want to get employed, everyone would migrate to Mumbai. Can Mumbai accommodate these people? The answer is no. We have a huge land. If we look at complete India, some states are more populated than others, but then we have ample of space to accommodate everyone in our nation. Right? It is accommodating anyhow. But what if the employment opportunities are not available everywhere? If I am living in a city maybe called as Lucknow, now here if I want to get employed and I don't have any opportunity available, I will not be able to survive over here, so I have to migrate. That means knowingly unknowingly there will be unequal distribution of income. Knowingly unknowingly there will be unequal distribution of employment opportunities, and this way a nation cannot grow. Moreover, if I talk, maybe this factory is contributing a lot to the GDP of our nation. We understand the gross domestic product, right? So this is a factory, this is a manufacturing entity, it's producing a lot of goods and it's contributing to GDP, right? So government is favoring it. Now, if government favors it, it will grow, 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 and there only it will grow. Maybe it can open some branches. But do you think this is helping? The answer is no. We have a lot of people, a lot of businessmen who are doing business on a smaller scale. Maybe they have opened a small manufacturing unit which is just manufacturing some 5,000 tons of some good that it is producing. But even for that production, it needs 20 people to be employed. That means it is giving it is giving employment opportunity to 20 people in that particular area. It is providing them a source of income and it is contributing to the GDP of the nation. And collectively, if I join all the small units, they all are contributing significantly to the Indian economy. So don't you think government should promote these business enterprises? Undoubtedly, yes, ma'am. Just the way government is trying to promote startups. Government is giving a lot of benefits to startups because they have innovative minds, they come with great vision, and they can contribute so much to the nation. So just the way government is promoting startups, why not MSMEs? Right? So undoubtedly MSMEs are ones who contribute a lot to the nation, they contribute a lot to the society, they provide equitable distribution of income, and hence government also takes a lot of steps to help this particular sector grow. So it has been a major contributor to the socio-economic development, not just economic development, but I would say to the socio-economic development of our country. And hence it has gained a lot of importance, it has gained a lot of prominence, and it should be encouraged. Fine, ma'am. That means, ma'am, every person who's doing a small business is MSME? Maybe. We do not know the criteria yet that who can be said as MSME. And why would anyone want to be said as MSME? Right? We do not know that yet. If I talk about Companies Act 2013, we have something called a small company. That means if we operate within a certain limit, we are treated as small company and we get certain benefits. Like we do not have to carry out so many board meetings. We do not have to maintain cash flow. We have some benefits given to us. So we would want that, okay, fine, if we're within that scale, we can get those benefits. If we are a startup, we get those benefits. Likewise, do MSMEs also get any benefits? Undoubtedly, yes. MSMEs, my dear, get a lot of benefits. They get a lot of benefits, not just from government, but from other sources as well. Like what, ma'am? What benefits do MSMEs get? Well, the banks also give a lot of benefits to MSMEs. They have some amazing tax benefits under IT Act, undoubtedly. Even when you're going to out to pay electricity bills, MSMEs have benefit. If you want to give or fill government tenders, government also give preferences of giving their contracts to MSMEs. So there also you have this advantage. If you are MSME, government will also favor you. You understand tenders, right? For every government contract, you have to give a quotation. You have to fill the tender, right? And thereafter, government gives you the work. So government gives preference to MSMEs, right? A lot of credit facilities are being given to MSMEs. They get a lot of subsidies. Some state government also gives benefit to the MSMEs incorporated in their state. Central government also gives benefit. So they get a lot of benefits. First thing, MSMEs are a major contributor. Second thing, they get a lot of benefits. That's why everyone would want to be MSME, right? Everyone would want to be MSME. But the question is, who's called as MSME? Someone, maybe some enterprise which operates within a certain limit, because we know we are not talking about the large enterprises, we're talking about some micro, small and medium enterprise. So definitely we have a certain threshold. If you work within that threshold, you will be MSME. If you work beyond that threshold, you cannot be recognized as MSME. If you are MSME, you will be entitled to various benefits, not just under this act, we do not have benefits. Under different acts, we have the benefits. This act is mainly about promotion, mainly about development of MSMEs, mainly about facilitating these MSMEs, providing certain relief to these MSMEs. Okay. But ma'am, we still don't get one point. The first doubt that I had when I read about MSMEs, MSME, like to become a small company, I need to be a company. To become MSME, what do I need to be? To do business in India, we have different forms of business organization. We have proprietorship, we have HUF, we have partnership, we have LLP, we have company, we could have some legal entity. Yes or no? To become MSME, we have cooperative societies also. To become MSME, what do I need to be? You can be anything. You can be anything. To become MSME, you could even be a company. If you're a company registered under Companies Act 2013 and you fulfill this threshold, you will be categorized as MSME. That means, ma'am, do I need to obtain any separate registration to become MSME? Like I formed a company, I meet the criteria as given under MSME Act. Now, am I MSME? Or do I need to do anything? That we will read in the act. We have a section for memorandum, registration, whatever that part, we'll discuss that later. But I hope you get this basic idea that to become MSME, you do not need to have any special type of legal, you do not need to be any special type of legal entity. You can be any legal entity and you very well can be MSME, right? So I want you to write certain things first of all. Everyone. MSME contributes significantly to Indian economy despite its small investments. Then any enterprise which qualifies the criteria mentioned in the act is MSME. There is no particular form of legal organization or what we call as business organization to be adopted to avail Benefits of MSME. As I told you, you do not need to be a cooperative society to do this, or you do not need to be specifically anything to do this. Now, I have written a term over here which is enterprise. The question is, what do you mean by enterprise? Ma'am, first thing that we have put in our mind is that any small businessman, right, or any service provider, also small service provider who are not operating on a very large scale, providing employment and everything, they are ideally considered as MSMEs if they are within some threshold. We do not know the threshold yet, right? They are considered as MSMEs, and MSMEs are entitled to various benefits. In fact, government is taking a lot of steps to promote MSMEs, and we have a dedicated act, MSME Development Act 2006, which we are going to read for the same. Okay. But the question over here is that what do we mean by enterprise? Small business, are they enterprise? If I walk out over here, I will find a lot of street vendors. They're all small businessmen. Maybe someone is producing some food goods. Maybe like you have the stalls of whatever foods you call chole bhature, pani puri, or whatever, right? Idli, vada, dosa, whatever. So we have a lot of street vendors. They are selling on a very small scale. Are they considered as MSME? The answer is no. By enterprise, we mean any undertaking, any business concern. That means in individuals who are doing business alone, they're not covered. See, basically the intent of the government is that anyone who's providing employment opportunities and like things, they are considered as an enterprise. And if they are operating within a certain limit, they are considered as MSMEs. So we have basically two types of enterprise. One who are manufacturing something, manufacturing or producing, manufacturing enterprise or production of goods. And second, the service providers, right? The individuals or the vendors who are operating like this, they're not covered over here. Okay, fine, ma'am. So what is MSME? Any enterprise which meets the criteria given under MSMED Act. Now we have discussed, we have got some basic idea about MSME, although here some things more are written, but we'll get to that later. First of all, we straight away move to the Act. And the first thing that we are going to discuss is the definition of MSME. The definition of MSME. Who will be treated as MSME? See, we divide the definition into two types. One, who is a manufacturing enterprise. Secondly, who is a service enterprise. When we talk about manufacturing enterprise, we want to know who will be called as a micro enterprise, who will be called as a small enterprise, who will be called as a medium enterprise, and if we go beyond that limit, you go beyond the purview or coverage of this particular topic, right? That means you will no longer be MSME. You have to operate within a certain scale. We are concerned about two criteria. Two criteria means, ma'am, investment in plant and machinery and turnover. See, usually whenever we have limit-based criteria, you will see that net profit is never a factor determining that. We always have turnover which determines it, because turnover gives you actually a better picture. Turnover actually gives you a better picture. And likewise, we want to know about the investment in plant and machinery. See, if a person has the capacity to set up a plant of 100 crores, how is he small? He has a huge capacity, right? He does not need any support of government or aid, or he'll already be huge, right? So we do not classify these people as MSME because they do not need any support, development, help, or like things. So we have these two criteria, and both criteria have to be met. Okay, so if you are a manufacturing enterprise, your investment in plant and machinery is less than equal to 1 CR. That means even if it is 1 CR, you will still be covered over here. Less than equal to 1 CR and turnover less than equal to 5 CR, 5 crores. Then you will be called as a micro enterprise. Second, if your investment in plant and machinery is less than equal to 10 crore and turnover less than equal to 50 crore, small enterprise. If investment in plant and machinery less than equal to 50 crore and turnover less than equal to 250 crore, medium enterprise. Okay. Very important from examination perspective. The first very important thing that we're reading in this particular chapter. So this is the classification, and hence you will be classified as micro, small, or medium enterprise. Ma'am, what if we are a service enterprise? Well, you don't have to learn another limit. You have exactly the same criteria. So ideally, it's a composite criteria for both service as well as manufacturing enterprise. So it is the same criteria which is given for the manufacturing enterprise as well. The classification was revised in 2020. Of course, it has to be revised every now and then owing to inflation. We know that the things change. So whenever there's limit, the classification has to be revised, right? So manufacturing enterprises and enterprises rendering services, investment in plant and machinery or equipment not more than 1 crore and annual turnover not more than 5 crores. Investment in plant and machinery and equipment not more than 10 crores and annual turnover not more than 50 crores. That means it can be 50 crores. Investment in plant and machinery or equipment not more than 50 crores and annual turnover not more than 250 crores. Right? Now, problem number 1, or what is the issue? Listen to me carefully. There was a factory, or maybe just an enterprise which started with investment in plant and machinery 1 CR and its turnover is 2.5 CR. Now what will it be called as? You can say that it will be a micro enterprise, yes or no? Yes, ma'am, micro enterprise. Why micro enterprise? Because its investment in plant and machinery is less than equal to 1 CR and its turnover is less than equal to 5 CR. So it is a micro enterprise. Correct? And it wants to remain the micro enterprise only because its turnover is constantly less than 5 crore only. But what happens? After 10 years, see, we have startups which are being recognized as startup and they stay as startup only for 10 years. After that, they cannot be startups. After that, they cannot be startups. So a startup is recognized only for the 10 year, only for 10 years. But in MSMEs, there is nothing like that. MSMEs can stay as MSMEs for their life, for their entire life. So after 10 years, what happens? This plant and machinery depreciates. This plant and machinery depreciates and actually become worth rupees 10 lakhs only. Now this enterprise is willing to add more plant and machinery despite being a micro enterprise, but it's afraid because it already has plant and machinery investment of 1 CR. If it invests more 50 lakhs, so it will be 1.5 CR. Then it has to be categorized as small enterprise. It doesn't want to go to small enterprise. Maybe micro, small, and medium enterprises have different benefits also individually. So it does not want to be classified as small enterprise. Don't you think it is harsh? Do you think this law or the provision has been made in pace with the changing scenario? The answer is no. The answer is yes. Because, because it tells us when you calculate the investment in plant and machinery or equipment, it has to be linked to ITR. When we fill ITR, we fill the depreciated value only. ITR picks your depreciated value only. So it will pick your plant and machinery as 10 lakhs. That means you still have 90 lakhs that you can invest. Correct? Okay. Now, asset of tangible nature only will be plant and machinery. Land, furniture, fittings, they will not be plant and machinery. Moreover, when you compute turnover, it will be linked to your GST returns and income tax returns. However, exports shall be excluded. Okay, so certain important things. Exports shall be excluded. Turnover linked to income tax and GST returns. Plant and machinery linked to ITR, and tangible nature part of plant and machinery other than land and furniture and fittings. Okay, so this is something that you have to keep in your mind. Now, one more thing. Ma'am, supposedly, this enterprise was earlier micro. Now it became small. Or maybe now it became medium. Or maybe now it is no more medium. It is no more MSME. So here it was getting a lot of benefits. Here also it was getting benefits. But what about the benefits over here? Will it still get the benefit? Because once it was MSME, or it will not get the benefits immediately after it ceased to be MSME? Well, there are two types of benefits. There are two types of benefits. One are tax benefits and one are non-tax benefits. So when we talk about non-tax benefits, entitled for up to 3 years. So after it ceases to fulfill the criteria, still for 3 years it will be entitled to the non-tax benefits. For tax benefits, it will not be entitled. Okay. Fine. Okay. Now we move back to the basics. Point number 1, MSME contributes a lot. It is, in fact, highly dynamic sector, provides large employment, assuring more equitable distribution. In fact, the second largest employer in India, MSME sector, and after agriculture, agriculture employs the most. And there are certain figures also given about industrial production, exports, GDP, and services. But this is undoubtedly not real-time data. It's not getting updated. So I'm not discussing the percentage and the data, but it may be asked, right? So you take care of that. Okay. Now, it is a highly dynamic sector providing a lot to the nation, and hence it is important that the government develops it and promotes it. Ma'am, which government? Is it the responsibility of state government or is it the responsibility of central government to do so? Well, ideally, it is the responsibility of state government. However, central government supports or facilitates or supplements the effort of state government. Okay. So we have a proper ministry, just like we have Ministry of Defense, we have Ministry of Corporate Affairs, we have Ministry of MSME also, which is a branch of government of India, and it is the highest executive body. So if we talk about the corporate sector, we have MCA, which makes all the laws for the corporate sector, policies, rules, a lot of things. Just like that, we have ministry which formulates policies, rules, regulations for MSMEs in India. Earlier, we had small scale industries and agro and rural scale industries ministry. It was then split and again merged into a single ministry. What does this ministry do? What is the purpose of the ministry? I've already told you. encourage, promote, facilitate MSME sector. So encourage more entrepreneurship, right? See, you have to make these MSMEs competitive. How will you make them competitive? There is one huge factory or there is one huge industry which has a lot of resources, because they have a lot of money, they have a lot of investment that they can make, so they deploy heavy machineries which can maybe produce cost effective products. And then we have these small enterprises which do not have adequate facilities or maybe infrastructure and like things, so they will not be able to compete with the product that these big industries are generating. So, to help them, to make them competitive, to provide them that infrastructure, to provide them credit facility, to aid them, to support them, to resolve their issues and problems, this ministry is working. So, their efforts will actually be to encourage entrepreneurship, employment, provide opportunities, enhance competitiveness, as I told you. So it designs a lot of projects, programs, and schemes for them. Okay, fine. So now we begin the act. Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises Development Act, as I told you, MSMED Act 2006. Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises Development Act 2006. Act gives us a lot of provisions, but mainly it is for promotion and development of MSMEs and for connected matters. We have already read about the definition of MSME, and now we will move to our actual chapter. Right? Okay. See, we have certain points that we need to discuss about the registration and all that, which is going to be interesting. But okay, let's first discuss this. Other important definitions. Advisory committee. First of all, advisory committee. See, under this act, you will see a lot of things: board, advisory committee, some councils. So, advisory committee is basically there to advise central government on certain matters, which we'll read about it in section number 7. So, nothing specific in the definition. Then we come to appointed day. Now, appointed day is something which is the special. Appointed day. You will not understand the reference right away. See, we have a supplier, right? This supplier is basically MSME that we are talking about. And we have a buyer, right? That means, can I say that supplier gives goods to buyer? Yes, ma'am. And the buyer has to make payment. The buyer has to make payment, right? So this particular topic, appointed day, is with reference to payment only. But when we discuss about the payment, because the act facilitates and promotes and develops MSME, it also ensures that whatever payment has to be made to MSME should be timely paid. So it has made provisions for that also. So for that reference, you have to understand what appointed day is. Okay, so with that context, we are reading about appointed day. Okay, so we have the goods which are being delivered, right? So I can say goods delivered, that is, or let's further classify it. When goods are delivered, my dear, what do you think happens? Goods will either be accepted straight away or there will be certain kind of dispute. That means I can say it may be so that you deliver the goods and acceptance is there, or there may be dispute. No, we did not like the quality, you have not given as promised, etc., etc. So there could be some type of dispute also. When I say that the goods are being delivered and the goods have been accepted, I can say the date of delivery of goods is date of acceptance or deemed acceptance if no objection. But if there is a dispute, that means you have supplied certain goods, but I don't like the goods, some dispute is going on, I haven't accepted the goods, then I can say the date of removal of objection, that means the date on which I settle down or the date on which I remove the objection. Removal of objection is the date when I can consider that, okay, fine, I have accepted the goods. So is date of acceptance. Right. See, if we look at the larger picture, I can say that whenever goods are delivered, you get a time period of 15 days to raise a dispute. That means if you're not satisfied, you have got the goods, you have 15 days tenure, you have 15 days time period to decide whether I want this goods or not. Right? So whatever dispute you want to raise. After 15 days, it is deemed acceptance. But deemed acceptance is from the date of delivery of goods only, not from the date after expiry of 15 days. That, okay, fine, for 15 days I did not raise the objection, so from now it is acceptance. No, you accepted the goods that day only. If you raise objection, then when you remove that objection, then is your date of acceptance. Okay, date of acceptance or day of acceptance, you can say. Right, date or day of acceptance. Now, listen to me very carefully. The concept is not over yet, my dear. After this, we have expiry of 15 days. Following day is, my dear, appointed day. Appointed day. Okay, right now you just have to remember this definition. This is going to be helpful to you when we read and discuss about the payment terms. Okay, so right now you have to just remember this definition because we are discussing the definitions. Board stands for the national board, which we will read in section number 3 in this class itself. Buyer, as I told you, is anyone who is buying the service or who is buying any goods, right? Enterprise, I already explained you, industrial undertaking, business concern or any establishment which is engaged in manufacture or production of goods or in rendering of services. So they are called as enterprise. Supplier is the MSME. But we do not know about the registration, we do not know about the memorandum as referred to in section number 8. So once we have that clarity, you will understand this definition better. So we do not have any very important definition till now. this definition of MSME was very important, and thereafter, this definition of appointed day is considered to be important for this chapter so far. Okay, fine, ma'am. Section 9 is nothing. Section 9 actually just gives power to CG that they can formulate a lot of schemes with regard to issues like enhancing the competitiveness of MSMEs, developing their employee skill, managing their issues, their technology upgradation, assistance in marketing, providing them infrastructure facility, cluster development, strengthening backward and forward linkage, and also smooth credit facility, which is given in section number 10. Right. So this is not very conceptual, but yes, you will have to learn it. Now, so far, things were interesting, right? We were understanding the concept of MSMEs and all that. But now, when I talk about section number 3, well, this is not interesting at all. We are now talking about a board which has been established by central government for a purpose. Its head office is at Delhi, and it is established for these three things. It is established by central government, right? Who is establishing it? When I talk about the national board, I can say, just a second. I can say central government establishes national board for MSME. Now, what are they going to do? Central government has established them, but what are they going to do? Examine factors, make recommendation, and advise CG. Examine factors like what? See, there could be a lot of things which are not letting. Supposedly, we have small enterprises. Maybe this board recognizes that these enterprises do not have adequate credit facility. That means they do not have funds to import some machinery which is the need of the hour, and they must deploy it, right? But they do not have the funds. So board is examining the factors which is affecting their development, and it also reviews the policy that CG has made for them. Based on that, it makes recommendation that you should do this to develop and promote MSME. Okay, so it is examining factors, examine factors, examine factors for development of MSMEs, or you can say examine factors affecting development of MSMEs, review policies made by CG, give recommendations to CG, and also advise CG on use of fund. We have MSME fund under this act which we haven't read till now, so we'll read that later. Okay, but and advise CG on use of fund. Okay. Fine. Now we have something else. What is it? I am talking about composition of board that we have to read. Now this part is, I would say, extremely boring and difficult because you'll have to learn it. Who will be there in this national board? See, some people become part of this board just because they hold an office, right? That is called as ex officio. You become something just because you are holding a position, you're holding a rank, or you're holding an office. Like, if I talk about the relevant ministry of central government for MSMEs, whoever is the minister in charge, that person automatically becomes the chairperson of the board. So, who shall be ex officio chairperson? Ex officio means till the time you are minister. For that time only, you will be the chairperson also. If you happen to leave that position of minister, then you will leave this position of chairperson also. Okay, that is the term which means ex officio. Ex officio means by virtue of an office. That is, a person becomes, or a person holds a position because of his rank or other job position. Okay, that is what ex officio means. So, first thing, the minister in charge of relevant ministry or department of CG shall be ex officio chairperson of the board. Secondly, the minister of state or deputy minister, if any, in the ministry having administrative control. So, if we have the ministry in which we have deputy minister, then that person is going to be the vice chairperson. Then CG shall select from six ministers of the state governments. CG shall select 6 ministers from the state government. Now, minister in which department of state government? See, we have central ministry, we have ministries in the state government, we have state government, thereafter we have the ministries, right, or the departments, you can say. So in state government, whoever is in the department of MSMEs, who are administrating the MSMEs, in that department 6 ministers will be selected from different state governments by CG. So again, it is going to be ex officio till the time you're minister, till the time you're here. Then 3 members from parliament. 2 will be elected by Lok Sabha and 1 by Rajya Sabha. Administrator of a union territory. Just like we have states, we have UT also. Secretary to Government of India, who is in charge of the relevant ministry. Then 4 secretaries to represent Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Finance, Food Processing, and Labor and Planning. Okay, so 4 secretaries from those relevant ministries. Then National Bank's chairman. So whoever is the chairman of National Bank, he will be there. Whoever is the chairman of Small Industries Bank, he will be there. Whoever is the chairman of Indian Banks Association, he will be there. Then 1 officer from RBI who shall at least be of the rank of executive director. Then 20 persons who are going to represent MSME. But from that 20%, we have to ensure that at least 3 persons are from women enterprises, at least 3 persons are from micro enterprise. It is not that everyone is from small enterprise or from medium enterprise. No. Likewise, there will be 3 persons who are experts in the field of economics, industry, and science, out of which 1 shall be woman. 2 persons two representatives of central trade union organizations, one officer not below joint secretary, who shall be member secretary of the board ex officio again. So we have ex officio at different places. Of course, these people are not ex officio because they have to be elected separately, they have to be selected separately. I hope you get it. I know this is the difficult part, you have to learn it, but you have to learn it. Okay, I have tried to highlight and simplify the things that you can learn. You do not need to learn the entire sentence, but you have to ensure that we are talking about two different. See, this is the department of CG that we are talking here. We are talking about the department. At the state level. So sometimes the department or ministry at the central level, sometimes the department or ministry at the state level we are talking, right? So you have to just understand it and learn certain things, because a composition may be asked directly in your examination, and if you do not know, then how will you write it? Other than that, there is nothing given in the section. What will be the term of these members? As prescribed. If the vacancy becomes, if there is vacancy in the position, how will it be filled? As prescribed. What is the procedure that we have to follow? As prescribed. How will they discharge their functions? As described, right? It's just that they can associate with other people also for assistance, and they have to meet at least once in every 3 months. Okay, so this point is important from objective type of question. Meet at least once in every 3 months in a year. Okay, so we wrap up the class here itself. In the next class, we'll be discussing the remaining provisions of MSME. Thank you.